Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of 360 Chat. My name's FA and today I'm joined with a new guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Madison.
Yeah, I'm with Madison today, my good sis.
Happy to be here, thanks guys.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Guys, as we do this episode, you'll understand why it was meant to be last year, but it also fits in with this season as well. Well, not last year, last season. But yeah, today we're speaking about faith and I guess our walks with
Individual walks.
individual walks with God. You'll understand why I chose Madison for this. Let's get into it. So, firstly, how would you describe your journey of faith and your relationship with God?
Starting off
We're going. Yeah.
like our respective though. Okay, how would I describe my relationship and my journey with God?
Yeah.
I would say the relationship that I have with God and the journey that I've had has really, I wouldn't be able to describe it in one word, but I would say it's shown me that I have a repetitive cycle and it doesn't matter who, what, when, why. There's a cycle that I must have built from my foundations that is still evidently something that I struggle with because it's been hard, it's been really uplifting, it's been disappointing in myself. Wouldn't say from what God has given me, but from how maybe I have decided to handle it or prioritize it.
The relationship.
Yes. Yeah. So the way that I've kind of treated many relationships in my life, I think even when it came to God, even though God is probably the most outstanding relationship and the most important relationship you'll ever have in your life, I still treated it that way. So I would say it's been very eye-opening. I guess.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So when you first came, I guess, into faith, when did you first come into faith actually? Let's start there.
Okay, I first came into faith properly.
Yeah. This is the Christian faith we're talking about, by the way.
Yes, in 2022.
2022. Yeah. And coming in, did you have any idea of how it would be? Were there any this is an episode that I've had before. Were there any misconceptions you had about it, or anything that someone told you that was yeah, let me step into it? Does that make sense?
When you said, what do you mean by that last bit?
Is there anything that someone said to you and they were and you were yeah, I really want to go into this?
I don't know, I always believed in God. I always knew there was a God, but I think that I never really committed to it because I knew if I was going to commit to it, there's a lot of things I'd have to stop and there's a lot of things I'd have to do. I didn't really care for that, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was one of those people where I thought just believing there is a God was enough and that would be me cool. But of course, there was a lot of things that happened in my life growing up. I grew up outside of out of a religious family. There were so many times where God revealed himself even when I was not seeking him.
Yeah.
That made me realise there's something. I was one of those kids where I thought I was very spiritual, whether that was manifestation, whether that was crystals, I don't know. I just thought I was some spiritual guru girl.
Yeah.
So when I met my ex-partner and I came into his family and just the nature of their family, the setup from grandma to young cousin and all in between, how pure it was and how beautiful it was. And I realised the one thing all of you have that I've never had before is faith.
Yeah.
That's when I realised something has to be real here because I'm seeing it firsthand and it was so foreign to me. And I think kind of just seeing when you are in faith and you really are serious about, how do I say it? You want to be an example of Jesus, Yeah. You want to be able to live a life where it shows I follow a faith and this is what I can give you because of what I believe. They were such a good example of that. So I feel when I was at my stage where I thought, you know what, I have nothing else to lose, that was really a big motivation for me. But I think a lot of people don't understand the relationship you have with God is so personal. And when you don't know God, there's so many things you can think of him, so many things you can, misinterpret about him.
Yeah.
So I was really, I guess, like a stereotypical, the same way people like to be stereotypical about black people. I guess, like just basic book standard. I was very much there with God until I experienced it myself and thought, wow, I couldn't have been like any more wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like with we call it home cell in my church, but we were speaking about like God as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what someone said was that we think of God as human, which can, I guess, contribute to how we treat our relationship with him. Because God's not human. So like, we can't treat him like a human.
That's so real.
Do you get what I mean? Like
100%.
With humans, you can at least attempt to understand how someone's thinking. You can try and attempt their next move. But because God is just so beyond our time, we can't comprehend it. So we just have to trust it. Do you know what I mean?
That's deep. That's
deep
so
in
real.
it. And like even like I was like, Frensss, because I'm started. No, but for I was like Frensss, because I've definitely treated God like a human. Like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching or listening have treated God like a human, or they didn't even call up they were treating God like a human until now. Do you know what I mean? So that could even be like why it's been like a cycle.
Words, in a way, it might sound crazy to say, but I feel like I almost love bombed him.
Frensss.
I feel like I love bombs.
Not you love bombing God.
No, but that's how I feel. Like I feel like I have.
But I feel like when you first come into faith, like properly, that's how it is.
Absolutely.
Like, God, I love you so much.
Absolutely.
Like you're the best thing ever. And then life hits you.
That fire underneath. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. Like I was so ready to, bro. Nothing could waver me in any way, shape, or no one could chat to me. What are you talking about? I swear now, to the point my family were looking at me sideways, like, what? She's smoking hard food.
Yes.
What?
Literally.
Like, what is going on? There was nothing that was in my way.
Yeah.
I was in my Bible every day. I was praying every second of the day. The way I was spreading I just woke up and I felt just like so different. So different, as if nothing could ever harm me again.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, life starts to come back into it. You come off that high.
Yeah.
And then again, like that novelty wears off. And I feel like as humans, that's just something we're so like, it's so second nature for us to do. We always want more and more and more. Doesn't matter how amazing something is. Yeah. It's never enough. So I feel like I definitely got to a point where when life started coming back into play, I kind of came off that high when really it's not high. It should be gratitude, and it should be, it should be just standard that you stay. Once you realise how amazing that privilege is to be able to say I'm a child of the Most High.
Yeah.
You should never really come down from there, but I did.
Yeah, it happens. Like I feel like the high that you're describing is the fire, and the thing is, like you said, when you first come, it's like you're so on fire for God. The fire starts to go down, but our responsibility is to keep the fire going, and I think that's what we just don't do. And the same way you have to feed fire like wood and stuff like that for it to keep going, is the way we need to be in our Bible, be in our this. That's what keeps the fire going.
I agree.
And I think because we're on that high, same way you think, okay, fire's just gonna stay lit. Like we just think, okay, cool, we're gonna stay lit. But no, but it happens. Like it happens to me. It happens to everyone, especially like after you get baptized. Like when I went for like the baptism classes, they were like, life is gonna hit you after you get baptized. Did that happen to you?
Sister. That was probably the like not whoa, like watch your mouth sweet young girl. I was about to say that was the worst day of my life. I wouldn't say it was the worst day of my life. It was fantastic, but spiritually, I have never felt anything like that before, and I couldn't explain it to anyone. And even though people were saying they understood, I thought, you don't understand how I feel. The second I came up out of the water, I felt like, can't explain it. I got baptised with my ex-boyfriends, and we got baptised on the same day, and we had such different experiences, and that threw me off as well. Because I thought, we are supposed to be like rejoicing together right now. This is supposed to be such a fantastic, day. And everyone, we've left. I remember we drove back up to London, me and his family went for dinner, and the whole drive up there I didn't say a word.
Really?
I was just sat in the back of the car, I just felt numb. I was so sad. I was confused, I think. I thought I should feel different. Why do I not feel I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
It almost felt a little bit like depression.
Really?
Yeah. And it didn't go for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. I was really conflicted, and I kept saying to people, I'm going through spiritual warfare, which I do believe I did, but I feel like it's such a cop-out thing to, like, not like a cop-out thing to say. I don't know what I went through, but all I know is that it really did go downhill from there.
It will be understandable if it was spiritual warfare, because, like, no spirit that is, like, not of God will want you to get baptized. So it's kind of like they're going to try to do everything to take you back to where you were, no matter what it takes. That's what, like, they literally said it to us. They said it's not going to be all funs and
games and
all of that stuff. It's going to be hard.
You're
going to have a lot of challenges.
Absolutely.
Like,
Definitely.
When I tell people I'm in my Job era for real, I'm not kidding.
It's not a joke. I've been there.
Literally, like,
listen, God needs to do his big one and take me out.
You get,
it's been about a year and a half, and I'm not enjoying it here.
Yeah,
100%.
It's not easy. Like, it's not easy at all. God's own people were slaves for how long? So it's like, it was never gonna be easy. Do you get what I mean? But I feel like that's just all part of the walk.
For sure,
it's all part of the walk.
And I feel like that as well. Like, I'm glad that I was in my Bible, especially as well with help with my sister. Like, we was going on Bible studies every week.
You need to get back.
Please, because I'll be like hanging on.
We'll get back.
Like, reading my Bible, I think that is when I start to realise instantly God is so real. Because for me, I lived a very worldly life. I still do, I'll be honest. There was a point in time where I pulled myself away from it when I first came to Christ, and the clarity that I got from reading the Bible and praying on it and meditating on it, and then actually having communication and engagement with God, I started thinking, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Sorry, Lord, for using the name in vain. My God, this is why it makes so much sense. That you don't get if you don't read the Bible, and people have to understand that. I don't care. You have to read your Bible. It is like a love letter from God, bro. It's everything you could ever need to know is in there. So if you don't read your Bible, you don't realise this is not, like you said, there's not sunshine and flowers and roses, and this is not easy. And if it was, everybody would be saved. There wouldn't be hell, because no one would need to go there. It's difficult, bro. It's difficult, and it's the same way why, like, it's uncomfortable, and people expect God to be a superhero. Yeah, he's not a genie. He's not a superhero. He's not here to make life a movie, bro. That's not what it is. There's sacrifice, there's pain, there's things you don't want to learn. He's a parent at the end of the day.
Speaking on that, it's true. Like, for real, that's what people don't realize. God is a parent, and
he's a parent.
The thing is, when I went to a conference like last week or something, beginning of the year, beginning of the month, look at me. Yeah, I went to a conference, and they basically said you should even be happy that you're even going through things, as mad as it sounds. You should be happy that you're going through things, and that God is correcting you in certain things. Because if he wasn't correcting you, he wouldn't be a parent, and you realistically, would you even be his child? A parent corrects their child out of love. So at least you know God actually loves you. So you should even be grateful in a way, quote unquote, that God is, I guess, making you do these things. Like, sometimes, like Madison said, like sacrifice, like all of that, like, it happens. But at the end of the day, at least you know for sure that, okay, cool, God loves me.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
something that someone said, I can't remember who it was that said it. It might have been Mike Todd. I don't know.
That man's scary. But
yeah. Don't get twisted. Like, obviously we know what he's been on the past little while, but there's no doubt in the fact that some of the things he says is just like, period.
Yeah.
And I think it was him that said, God doesn't put you through things to punish you, but to prosper you. And I think about that every single day, because it's true, like you said, growing, as we were speaking about earlier, we were staying on the bus journey here, that growing is uncomfortable, and that's why people a lot of the time don't get from A to B. That's why people don't reach their dreams. That's why a lot of people don't do a lot of the things they want to do in this life, because it hurts and it doesn't feel nice and it requires work and it requires to feel uncomfortable. And God isn't afraid to put you in them situations, because he already knows how it's going to end, and he already knows what you're capable of doing, but you have to trust in him that there's a reason for it. So facts. And
again, going back to the Bible, there's so many examples.
So many, even like you said, Job is the biggest one.
Even Sarah and Abraham, Sarah was impatient. Like when God said, okay, cool, I'm gonna make you father and mother of many nations, she went to go and send her maid to go and have sex with Abraham, and then Ishmael came, and now look, do you know what I mean? When Hagar was pregnant with Ishmael, like, she was moving mad with Sarah, and it's kind of like she has that constant reminder that, okay, like, I didn't wait on God, and now look, that my husband has a son that's not mine, and stuff like that. But yeah, there's so many examples of Jonah and the well, like, come on, man.
Jonah, my boy.
Come on, man. I was stuck in a well for days. He was stuck in a well, like, because he did want to listen to God. Like, there's just so many
do you know what? I love Jonah so much, because I feel like everyone in the Bible, I relate to him. If you want to actually be so flipping for real with yourself, bro, like, you will relate to him more than anything, because you only want to show gratitude when it's not when you're in a situation that's not in your favor, and then when you get help, you forget that help and you go back to being ungrateful. You go back to, you know what I'm saying? Because, bro, he changed his tune real quick when he was in that well. When he come back out, he remember blood clot, I've got to go do something, I want to blood clot.
Literally. Like,
and the attitude was back.
Literally.
And that's what we do with a lot of things. And again, it's like when we're saved, and we start to experience God's love in so many ways, shapes and forms, all these amazing things happening, you think, I cannot believe this is even real. I cannot believe that God has even put me in this situation, or God has used me in this situation. And life goes on, you maybe forget about him for a bit, you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. The guilt overcomes you so much that you just push him away entirely, then a mad thing happens and you think,
Lich.
What?
Lich.
God, what is going on? No, God, because God, where are you? I need you, God. And you start getting, you're pleading, you're trying to put me, you're fasting, because I can't lie, that's something I do that I don't rate myself for at all. When things start getting peak and I know I've been outside of God's parameters, so how can I be shocked that things have got peak? I'll fast, bro. And I'll be very, very surprised if I don't hear from him. Do you mean, bro, I just didn't eat. I just didn't eat for you. Like, what? But anyway, so you're doing all these things to get him back to us for help. He might show up, and then again, novelty's worn off, you don't care, you go back to doing what you're doing. And that's exactly what happens in the book of Jonah. So
it's all about discipline, man.
It is.
Like, it's like what some people say, like, you have motivation wears off. It's discipline that keeps you going. And when you, I guess, break down the word disciple, discipline is part of disciple. So it's like, you're disciplined in this walk. Like, even though you might know, the disciples went through it. I think there was something that I saw, and it was like how they all died. And I was like, damn, like, you lot went through a couple of them got stoned, a couple man got hung. It's not easy, like, it's not easy. And you're here complaining that you can't go to 1-2 motive. Come and pick yourself back up from the ground, please. Like, you just have to go back to the source. This is what I spoke about in the first episode of this season as well. Go back to the source.
But even saying that, like you're saying about the 1-2 motive and things like that, in my opinion, of course, I actually can't really talk because I've been alive for 22 years, my boy. I don't know what was going on at these times.
Yeah.
But I feel like when people talk about end times and things like that, the reason why I do feel like it's so near is because we actually now live in a time that more than ever, you're free to think whatever you want. You're free to think whatever you want in this life these days, and it's feelings over facts, and you a lot of the time can't combat it in anything, whether that's to do with equality, race, sex, gender, like anything. We can allow ourselves to believe that it's something worth fighting for. So we're actually so far away from even what was just like common what things were back then. Do you get it?
Yeah, but I think that's Western world as well, do you know?
100%, I do, 100%. It's just like today's culture, it's so difficult to not allow your flesh to give in.
Yeah, it is.
So much more.
Yeah, I find that.
Because even now, obviously, back in the day, even though things like cheating and you know, affairs and red debt, these things are still happening, we now live in a society where like a lot of influencers, a lot of documentaries, and a lot of everything is open. We can openly sit and talk about polygamy and well, it's polygamy, there's open relation, all these things. It's normal. It's so normal. We can sit and and that's not me judging anybody.
No.
But the one thing, as I said, the more I read my Bible, I understand what God is saying, because I used to be someone. Honestly, I used to always say when I was with my little partner back in the day, like if me and him ever break up, I'd be open to something like that. Why can't, like, if you have so many friends, if you have multiple friends and you can love multiple friends, why can't you love multiple people romantically? It doesn't make sense. Why do we cap it there? It's because society, and then I'm combating the complete other end of the spectrum, and I really didn't see what was wrong with it. And I could fight till the cows come home about why I felt the way I felt.
Till the cows come home.
Until the cows come home. So it's difficult. It's really difficult to block everything else out and confine in something and someone that you've never seen, live-o anyway. For a lot of people, for a long time or whatever, they never have experiences that other people say they experience. So on TikTok, I always see people talk about, I really heard live-o God's voice. Whenever I hear God's voice, it's usually from my own thoughts. So it's like my own voice, or it's an idea.
Yeah.
Or it's an image or a vision. I've never heard him say like, "You're mad." Yeah, I've never what girl. I've never heard anything like that before. So it's again about having faith in a time where it's like, bro, anything's possible.
Yeah, but like you said, it's personal. Your relationship with God is so personal.
So personal.
Like the way God communicates. I feel like God communicates to people in the way He knows how you receive it. Like the best way you receive it, basically. So for some people, me being one of them, like, is communicating through other people. If that makes sense. So yeah, not everyone's gonna have the same experience. The same way, like, some people fall down in church. I've never fell down in church. And I don't want to fall down in church. So God, don't play any games with me, please. Like, I don't want to. I don't want that experience. But some people are like, yeah, it just feels like your whole body just gives in. I'm just like, I don't want to fall in church, bro. And then they'll have to come and put a blanket over me. And then when I'm done having my little moment, I have to get up and give them the blanket and walk back to my chair. Like, I'm just not doing that. I'm just like, nah, man. I just not do it.
I just don't want to do it.
It's like, it's awkward. Like, obviously not in the moment because, you know, God's working and all them things, but when you have to walk back to especially when you're sitting at the back, they're just like water cooler and you have to go back to the back. Give them back their blanket. Allow me. Going back to what we're speaking about, was there like any significant moment or, I guess, experience that deepened your faith?
Yeah. There's multiple.
Let's get into it.
Bro, what, like, I don't even know why I'm so calm. You asked that question, it's brought so much water in my eyes, but you see me, I'm gangster, so don't worry about that. Okay. So, the first one for me, definitely was when I was 11. So, just to give you some sort of understanding, when I was 11, I nearly died of drug and alcohol abuse. So, I had a group of friends that were a lot older than me that I kept hidden from my family, but because of the things I experienced growing up, I was mentally a lot more grown than kids my own age. I experienced a lot of things before even the age of 10. So when I was 11, I had friends that were 14 to 17, So I snuck out to a party. I got absolutely smashed. People from the party wiped drugs on my tongue. I fell into a coma, and they left me in mud, face first, in the ground.
Crazy. 11, by the way.
To basically die. And I don't remember anything past falling, like flying down a flight of stairs, and just black. That's it, just black. And when I woke up, I was in intensive care. I had all these machines and tubes down my throat. And I remember my whole family just being there. My mum towered over the bed and she was like, do you know why you're here? And I shook my head and she said, you went to a party last night, Madison, you almost died. Like, everyone's here to say goodbye to you because you wasn't supposed to wake up. And I passed back out because I was just in so much shock.
Mm-hmm.
So see, I've woken up. I have really, for a long time, it was very blurry. I didn't, even still to this day, I can remember certain things, but a lot of things was just like past my acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
But my mum said there was a woman across the road in a house, and if it wasn't for her waking up and looking out the window and seeing me face first in the mud, and that would have been it. If she woke up 5 minutes later than what she did, I would have been toast. So, and they said if I was to wake up, I would have been brain dead. But obviously here I am now, God's grace.
Mm.
So I went to go and give her flowers a couple days. I think it was after a couple of days, like a couple of weeks after I come out of hospital. And I remember her saying to me, it's so crazy because I never wake up out of my sleep ever. They have parties over there all the time. I never wake up out of my sleep. I don't know what did. And for a long time, because my father passed away when I was younger, I always believed it was like him. Because I went to growing up, I would always see spirits and things like that. So my mum used to take me to classes from like mediums that would basically teach me how to stop seeing certain things. And I went to someone who would basically, she would speak to like a crowd of people and people would supposedly come through to her. And then she, on a break one time when I was there, she came up to me and said, your dad wants me to let you know it was him that woke that woman up. And the second she said that, I clocked. I knew exactly what she was talking about. But as time went on, I just started to think it's much more than that. It's got to be much more than that. And I think that was like the first proper time that I thought something's going on here. Then I think another time that was really, really significant to me after that. So I was going through school, and school was really difficult for me, and I was going through I was very spiritually attacked in school because I was around a lot of darkness when I was younger.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I've always had a spiritual gift but never knew it was from God, so I wasn't really using it in the right places, and I would see a lot of things that I shouldn't see, and I was just very spiritually conflicted. And I remember being in a place where I was very popular in school and I had a lot of people that liked me, and I was becoming a very not nice person. I had a lot of ego. And I remember saying to one of my friends, I can do anything I want in this life, anything, and I will not reap the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just that girl, basically. I'm that freaking girl. And I would say it a lot. I do anything I want in this life. Nothing's ever going to come back to me.
Yeah.
And there was a school trip I had one time with my school and a school that was like known as like the chavvy, like people didn't like. If you went to Bridgebury, the school Bridgebury, if you went to Bridgebury, no one liked you. You was like a weirdo. And we went on a school trip, and both the schools ended up being there. And I was just outright being a little bully to everyone at my school. I just got blood clot while I'm around these people. Like, oh, this is the worst trip ever in my life. And I was miserable, as in I was so miserable. They drove us to Wales, and they was contemplating how are we going to get this girl back home because no one wants her here because she's horrible.
Fairs.
Yes. So I've come back from this trip. This is when I'm having my little mental. It's 2016 summer, so you know what's going down. It was that time. Hey. So I was doing my big one in that summer, and then when we've come back from that summer, my whole life changed. I lost all of my friends. I was being accused of doing all these things I didn't do, amongst things I did do that now I'm older, I'm not proud of. Okay, I'm not going to go into them, but I did some things that were not good. So what's happening? I'm reaping the repercussions of things that I just said I can do whatever flip I want in this life, and I'm not going to reap. So when that happens, I was very mentally in a bad place, and I put myself in hospital a couple times, and my uncle from Canada heard about him, who I never met before, and he said, come to Canada for a bit, like straight out of hospital. I'll pay for you. You can come here for a couple months, just reset. So I left everything I knew. I left my family to go to live with these people for a bit that I've never even met. And the time difference was so big over there. So when you lot was asleep, I was awake. So I wasn't around anyone. I had so much time to think, and I had so much time to just think about everything. Everything I've been through in my life, things I've done I'm not proud of, things I've maybe like brushed to the back of my head, maybe goals I want to do in future. Like, who am I? Let go of everything I have been. You don't, whoever this is you've been for the last couple of years ain't real anyway. So just put it to bed with Tyler then now. What are you hiding from? What do you want? And how are we going to get there? And I was only 14 at the time, and these were the things I was thinking.
Yeah.
And in that period of time, I saw so many different things out there. I saw people come and go. Like, my uncle had a friend who, one minute he was at his house with his wife, making pizza and laughing. The next minute he got euthanized because he was physically in so much pain. And I was meeting young people and old people and having all these experiences and realising there's so much more to life. And when I came home, I was so ready to just start again. But I was having such a terrible time in the school I was in that I had to move to the school that I was talking about. I had to move to Bridgebury.
Fair,
and it was such a humbling experience. But when I got there, I was just like, it was just so, whoever I was trying to be then, I just was gone. And I just wanted to be me and to just be authentic and to just lead with love. And I remember being in a class and a teacher saying, they was talking about the trip, the Wales trip, and she was like, do you remember that horrible girl, to the other students, do you remember that horrible girl that was on that trip? And I was stood there like, miss, that was me. And she was like, not, and I was like, miss, that was really me. But when I turned up to that school, because I was such a different person, nobody, even like the teachers, of course, didn't even recognise that it was the same person.
Yeah.
So that, I think for me was like, again, was the most humbling experience of God being like, cool, you think you're that? You think you're going to go and do all that? Like, I'll show you. I'll show you. And that was literally in about a year period where that happened. So that was probably the most humbling experience that God ever put me through in my life. That was like, okay, God. Yeah.
So you say like that deepened your relationship?
Yeah. I think that for a long time I didn't know then. I was dibbing and dabbling back then about like I was so new to Christ and so on my own. I would do things like put a pillow on the floor and then sit in front of the pillow and like pray and just be like, is he like sat there or like I didn't know. Like I didn't know. I actually didn't know. I was completely by myself. Yeah. Then as I said, when I met say names, girl. I know you met Mike anyway, but when I met and I was as I said, that was my real eye-opener to like, wow, this is what God does for people when you really know him. Then when we broke up in 2022, because again, I self-sabotaged that relationship the way I'd done with a lot of things because of the things I couldn't let go of growing up. I'd actually got myself to rock bottom at like 20. I was 20 at the time. I actually couldn't have been any lower than what I was addicted to drugs. I was drinking every day. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anything. There was a lot of things happening around me at the time. I wasn't in my life anymore because I jeopardised that. I just went through the loss of somebody that was really significant in my life for a period of time, and it was really messy, and I wasn't able to like say goodbye to them properly. And I remember one day I'd done so much drugs that I sat in my room and I felt like I closed my eyes and I was like falling through the ground. Like it was like the ground split and I was like falling. Like as if like I was falling to hell. And I kept trying to open my eyes because I was like, oh, this is so scary. And when I woke up in the morning, I said, I don't know how I'm going to get to God, but this is the last thing. This is the last thing that's going to save me. Otherwise, nothing is going to save me. I've lost everything I've ever cared about. Then I went to work and I was speaking about to my colleague, and she said, you know, my husband, he goes to church. It's in Havant, because I'm actually from Portsmouth, by the way, guys. And she was like, he was an atheist, like a diehard atheist, and now he has been with Christ for however long. This is the church he goes to, you should go one day. So I thought, why not try? And I remember praying to God that night, and just praying to God and being like, I need you to pull your big one out tomorrow. I need to know you're real, because otherwise I don't know what to do. Then when I got there, the whole first sermon was them saying, Jesus is the intercessor, and you cannot get to God without knowing Jesus, because he is the middleman basically between y'all. And if you don't know the Son, you don't know the blood clot Father. That's it. You don't know the girl. And I remember thinking, and it felt like he was talking directly to me. And I remember that church, that like, it was so welcoming, and there was a woman called Margaret, and she took me under her wing straight away, and I told her, I was so transparent and honest, because again, I had nothing to lose. This is what I've been through, this is why I'm here, don't know what I'm expecting. And I remember everyone just saying, why don't you surrender today and just see how you feel? So I'd done it, and it was like instantly in that moment was like, whoa, especially after what we just spoke about. And when I went home that day and I started praying, and was really, the first thing I did, start reading the Gospels. And when I started reading the Gospels, it was crazy, because it was like, the most important Gospel to me is Matthew. Like, when I say, oh my gosh, it was like I would read, and then when I was thinking, what does this mean, God would implement something in my life straight away, where it was like, this is what you mean. So there was a part in Matthew, I think, when it was talking about forgiveness, and it's like, even if someone like hurts you this amount of times, you forgive them times 10. Basically, you can't come to the altar and pray if you have hate in your heart. And every single time I was reading over this, there was one person that kept coming into mind, and I was thinking, I ain't ready for that. I hear what you're saying, but in due time, because I'm not ready for that. I'm not. And I was thinking about the same person every time. And then there was a time I had a nap, and I woke up out of this nap at like 1 a.m. But I was having a dream about this person. I was having a dream this person was going to come to me and have a certain conversation with me. Then when I woke up out of the dream, the person had messaged me on social media saying the exact same thing I had just dreamt. And I thought, oh my gosh, no, please. It was so scary. Like, oh my God, no, please. To the point now, if I dream anything, I'm taking it for real. Like, I don't even care if it sounds crazy. Like, because it's like, when I dream things, God then pulls this big one, and it's like, you're trying to, I don't know. So,
in my church, like my old church that I grew up in, is not in the Bible, it's not a gift, but we always say it's a gift.
It's crazy.
A gift to dream,
Like, it's scary. So, that was the deepest, most like, okay, cool. I have no doubt. I have no doubt, because it's like, the more I'm learning about you, it's like, I may be someone where I have to see things or experience things. I'm very stubborn, and I feel like one reason I love God so much is because he really knows you. Even when you don't know you, and you're questioning things because you don't really know you, he knows you. He knows how to deal with you. So he knows that for me as a person, I'm someone where like, you can tell me something a million times, but until it's burnt me out, or until I experience something that I don't like, I won't do it again. So it's like, he really puts me through things where I have to live experience to know, okay, cool. Okay, cool. This isn't a coincidence. This is really what's happening. So that was the most deepest thing, I think, at that point where I was at rock bottom, and I didn't care about how much I had to give or what it looked like to give it, because I just didn't have anything else to lose. And my whole life like changed from that.
I always told, like, I think I told you, when I'm saying I always told people, did you just leave? When I first met Madison, and like she was telling me everything, I was like, you're literally a walking testimony. And it's not like, I'm pretty sure you lot listening or watching will probably say the same thing, like, it's not normal. Like, it's not normal. Like, no, like, I vote, like, it's not normal. Like, and no one, I said it to you, I was like, with your life, no one can say that God's not in your life, or that God's not a part of your life, or that no one can say that you weren't meant to be here. Do you know what I mean? You were meant to be here. Like, okay. No, because it's true. Like, you were meant, like, I've told you this. Like, the first day that we met, I said it to you, that you were meant to be here.
Thank you.
There's like, no one can chat to you, like, no, sorry. I'm getting passionate about this, because, like, once you see that God is so present in someone's life, you can't deny it. Even if you want to deny it yourself, like, you can't deny it, because you're literally a walking testimony. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone can have the gift to dream and to, like, communicate with God in that way, because that's a way of God communicating with you, like, in a way. Not everyone has that. And it's like, you were so connected with God in the time where you weren't even sure, like, that he was even there type thing. And it's like some people are really wanting that connection, but you haven't. You know what I mean? So
Where do you see though, mum?
Hmm?
Like, you're like a prayer warrior, bro.
not as
Prayer
much.
warrior.
Not as much, please.
No, well, because me too right now, mum.
Well,
Me too.
not right now.
And that's why it's so like disappointing as well, low key, because it's like having these conversations and talking about the importance of God and just knowing I've not been there. This whole year, I can hand on my heart say
But
I've
it
not been there.
happens. Like it honestly, like I feel like this is something that a lot of people need to understand. Your walk with God is not always gonna be straight. Like it's never ever gonna be straight. If someone tells you they've never gone through hardship and they've never gone through a time where they're questioning, not questioning, but kind of like, God, like where are you? They're lying to you. They're straight up lying to you. Like it literally happens all the time. And in the conference that I went to, they were like, you literally go through seasons in your life. Like the same way we have seasons in a year, we have summer, winter, autumn, blah blah blah. You have those seasons in your life. So if you're like, if you're going through that now, like if you're at a stage where you're like, okay, I'm not pulling my weight or whatever, like even the fact that you recognize it is enough. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we shouldn't be made to feel bad because we're not like these TikTok Christians that are shouting at us every single day. Like you said, your journey's personal to you.
It is 100%.
And I feel like you said, God knew us before we were born. He knew every single strand on our head before we were born. So he knows you will come back, and he wants you to come back. So
Amen.
it's what it is. Like,
Amen.
and don't let anyone make you feel like, yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
you know what you're doing. You know what you're meant to do to get back there. And you, like, I trust that you'll do it. So, yeah, man, that's my little TED talk for the day.
Amen, man. So wrong. So wrong.
Nah, man. Is that I was saying that earlier when we were having the conversation on the way here? Like, life is your biggest teacher. Like, so don't let people try and teach you how to live your life, because life gives you experiences that no one will be able to, like, tell you about. You won't be able to live through other people's experiences. You have to live through your own ones. So
100.
in this life, it's you and God, you know. Like, you came alone and you're leaving alone, is what they say. But realistically, you came with God, you're leaving with God, you'll meet with God when he comes again. So it's like, just let it be a twin. Like, that's my twin. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You're so silly,
that
man.
is my twin. No, for real. Like literally, like, where have you been? That's literally, that was me throughout this whole year. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, same way you said, like, this whole year has been like hard and stuff. Me as well. I've literally been like, twin. Like, where have you been? Like, that's me with God as well. So it's like, yeah, I've literally been to God. Like, where are you? Literally, like last month, April, and it's weird because we spoke about it in church. I think in April, or I can't remember when, but we spoke about it in church. And it was like, do you ever have those feelings where you're like, God, where are you? I'm just like, that's literally what I'm going through right now.
No, 100.
But it's like normal because it's like, hold on, I need to get my tissue. Actually, wait, I didn't bring tissue. But I just realised I didn't bring tissue. But yeah, like sometimes you're gonna go through those periods where like, God, like I can't see you, I can't hear you, like I just don't know what to do. And like in that period, I feel like that's where, again, you need to go to your Bible, because someone said to me, they were like, the way you communicate, like say us for example, we'll speak on the phone, or not on the phone, but we'll speak on text, we'll see each other, stuff like that, we'll keep in contact. But with God, you do that through prayer and your Bible. How are you meant to understand God and recognize his voice if you don't go to where he's written literally everything that he said to everyone else? Do you know what I mean? So in that period I was like, okay, cool, I need to get back to the source and keep it stepping as long as I can. But yeah, you always want to go through seasons, especially in hardship. Like in hard times, it's like so hard to keep faith. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I will never lie to you guys. It's so hard to keep faith during the hard times. So it's like, I'm literally going through this and I don't know where you are. Do you know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
Getting deep, guys.
No, it's real though, man.
Okay, cool. So, would you say that mentally, not in comparison, English, not in comparison to like how you were before like 2022 or when you first like was deep in your faith, from then till now, from like when you first got deep till now, would you say that it's helped you mentally, or would you say it's been a burden? It's not burden.
No, it's been really. It's helped me so much, like so much. I feel like before I had faith, I was so like. I was so quick to just allow myself to believe that like everything about me is a curse. Everything about me is a curse. From like the second I came out of the womb to up to that point of time, there's not one really traumatic thing I have not experienced, whether it's me personally or my family or everyone around me. And like I just had so much. I felt like I had so much power in my darkness. Even now, if I really want to, I could tap back into that and just be someone that I've fought so hard not to be. And it's difficult. And I was always that kid that was like, she has so much potential and there's so much about her, but there's just something she's not tapping into. And it was like, I'm always just getting here, when here is where I should be, but there's just something not there. And I was just so, like, I don't know, I'm just feeding into that darkness all the time. And I would always end up in really, really horrible situations. And it was because like I just didn't believe I was worth, like, if I've experienced so much darkness and trauma, how can I ever do anything great? How can I ever turn back time? How can I ever, I'm not like, me and you are not the same. What is normal to you is not normal to me, and what definitely shouldn't be normal to me, no, what definitely is normal to me should not be normal, and it's absolutely not your normal. And it made me feel like an alien. And I just always felt like I'm just destined for just failure. And even my family would always say, Madison's going to end up being pregnant, dead, or in prison by the time she's 18. I didn't even think I was going to make it to 18. I was putting myself in hospital every single time around like September to November, every single year from 11 to 19, just doing the same stuff, same stuff. So when I came to Christ and actually experienced God's love and realised there's nothing you could do that he will not forgive. Jesus died so that there's nothing you can do that hasn't already been defeated. There's nothing that has been done that you will do that God didn't already know was in your flipping plans. And he still loves you. And you woke up the next day because you had time to correct that. And I think one of the biggest things for me was understanding generational curses. Because I always felt so connected to my dad. I didn't understand why he died when I was 2, he was murdered when I was 2. Why do I feel so connected to you? And something people always used to say is you're so much like him. I was always literally the black sheep of the family because I grew up on my white side. But my sisters were like angels. And it was always me. It was always me getting up to craziness, experiencing craziness. I was so different to them. And I gave my mum a really hard time, and I used to always think, why? And I know that my black side of the family and my brothers over there was very much the same too. And I remember having a conversation with one of my cousins one time and them saying that back in Jamaica, one of my uncles made like a deal with the devil. That like if he like sacrificed one of the cousins, then he would have some sort of power or something, and it had some sort of curse, or I don't know. But it just, I don't know. But when I went to church and started learning about generational curses and realising that you can pass that shit on to your children, I thought that makes so much sense. But you can unlearn generational curses.
Yeah, you can break
And
it.
when you really understand the whole point of Christ being the sacrificial lamb, and what he done for you, and then start to experience that love, you let go of that burden and you realise, I have a chance to start again.
Yeah, facts.
Anything I ever did before doesn't matter anymore,
Yeah.
and you actually feel it.
Yeah.
So when I first experienced that, everything changed for me to the
Yeah.
point where, like I said, when I met my family, when my family started being around me and I'm praying all the time and I'm asking to bless the table and they're seeing me actively put this forward in my life, they were like,
Who's this?
what? so shocked. To the point where back then I thought I'm so silly to even think I'd ever be able to save my family, and now all of them bar one sister right now is fully saved.
Glory.
Like, glory be to God every time. But I've experienced too much now to ever forget where he pulled me from.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even though I'm not fully happy with kind of, I have some similar, like I still sometimes, like for instance, I didn't need to drink 3 cups of wine today, like I didn't need to, girl, but I did.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near where I used to be, because I will never forget.
Yeah.
God gave me some sort of strength that I would just be absolutely taking the mick to even pretend that is not there.
Yeah.
So, mentally, this is as strong as I've ever been, to the point where now my family, like I said, has gone from thinking she wasn't even going to make it to 18 to now being like she's going to be the one to change this whole family's outcome. So, yeah.
Do you feel pressure with that though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Understandably though.
Yeah, I really
We'll
do.
do it. Same way, to be honest. Because I feel that I'm the same in the sense that I think of all my siblings, I'm the one that's at most in tune with my faith. Obviously, yeah, like we all grew up in church. Like we went to 2 churches. Like we used to go to the Catholic church in the morning, and then go to our white garment church in the afternoon. So we all grew up in church. But like my siblings, they're just like, they don't go to church anymore. I feel like our church kind of scared them away from God and stuff like that. So like I feel like that pressure is also on me as well to, I guess, kind of change the family, like break that generational curse. And it's not easy, like it's not hard, like breaking the generational curse is breaking me. Like we're gonna touch on music because Madison's a singer, she's an artist. She's an artist. Yeah, so okay, firstly take us through your music journey and how is music important to you?
Again, music is just like, I believe I was put here. I believe I went through everything I went through to be able to put it in art form, to be able to share with you guys as open and as raw as I can. People always tell me that my weakness and my strength is how open I am with people, but it's just how I am. I've experienced so much that I've realised there's so many ways I'm able to empathise and help and relate to people by just telling my story. And a lot of the time, the things I've experienced, a lot of people, if they have experienced, are not going to talk about because they don't want to be judged and they don't want to be, misinterpreted. But I'm just so past that. So music for me is always going to be a way for me to collect the masses, to be able to help the masses. And from young, again, music was just something where I experienced so many things from young, and music was the one thing that just stuck and was almost like showed me that I had something from young. Even when I couldn't sing when I was younger, when I was like 6, 7, but I was writing songs in my room and I went to the studio the first time when I was 7. And I was writing all the way up until I was like 15, 16, and just posting all these little covers until people started to kind of clock who I was. And I built everything up myself, and all the connections and everything that I am now. Now, of course, with the help of people, with the help of our good little friends. Love them to pieces. But I just came from a town that no one really knows where it's from. I'm from Gospel. If any of you know where that is, probably don't. That's what I'm talking about. I made everything kind of happen, and music's been good. I've experienced some really bad things. I've experienced them really near moments. But it's just something that I believe is my end goal. And I've had some really great experiences, and hopefully this year is going to be the start of many more, man. It's going to be the start of what really to come. But I needed to definitely know not to put music before God. And the second you start idolizing something before Him, He will take it away from you just as quick as He was ready to give it to you. So
facts. That's what Bella said as well. Like last season, she said there was a time she had to stop music because she was putting music above God. So she had to bring it down and put God first, basically. So check out that episode as well, guys. It's coming up to a year. Wow. Guys, I don't put on a lot of music on here. I don't plug a lot of music on here. You lot know that I always bash the music that is coming out right now. But I'll never bash Madison's music because it's actually good. You can take my word for it. You can actually take my word for it. I'll never promote something that I don't like but I don't believe in. So you guys should know that by now. So, okay, with music, you know how people say that, we shouldn't be making secular music, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about that as someone that actually makes music and being a Christian with your walk? Would you say this helps actually?
What do you mean?
Like your walk with God and making music?
I think it's an interesting one. Again, I think it really does come down to you. Because a lot of the time God doesn't the whole point of you spreading the gospel and doing all these things and ministering, you know what I'm trying to say, and showing people I am an embodiment of what I follow and what I believe, doesn't mean you have to be throwing God down people's throats every day. Are you reading your Bible? God says this, God says that. It's about actually being and showing the same love, showing the same principles, showing the same morals and compassion. So I feel like secular music isn't the problem to a whole degree. Because at the end of the day, R&B's a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be releasing is about love and certain things, and music that comes down the line. I'm talking about things I experienced in the past, ways that I used to treat men and the ways that men used to treat me and the way that I used to love drugs and things like that. But you might not understand I'm talking about that. But that's what I'm talking about. But then it's about you listening to my music, but then if you follow me and you actually take time to, the same way if you listen to a certain artist, you probably understand, if we mention Central C, we all have an image about who Central C is and what he does. What does Central C follow? Who is he? What does he believe in? I don't actually know the things, I don't know him like that to a T. But that's then your position to be showing people how God works in your life.
Facts.
Do you get it?
Facts.
I'm trying to think of someone as an example.
Bella.
Or is his name Tyson Fury?
Tyson the boxer?
Tyson Fury.
And
a lot of his podcasts and a lot of his interviews, even when he walks out to the ring, he's always showing you that he is a follower of Christ. But getting in the ring and actually doing boxing itself doesn't show you that. It's who he is, but it's the boxing that brings the masses. So there was, Sarah Roberts. There's a woman that I listen to on YouTube. She's really good, and she was saying sometimes God will lead you into darkness to be that bit of light. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody told you going to the clubs was an issue. It's going to the clubs and drinking your life away to the point where you're drunk is the issue. You going into the club, you might meet someone that's having a really, really bad time on the floor, and you might sit next to them and talk to them, and the next minute you end up ministering to them, and you've been that bit of guidance they needed in that moment of time. God sent you to them. The amount of times God has sent me somewhere to do that. Do you get it? So I feel like when it comes to music, it depends what it is what you stand for and what it is you're promoting to people. I do believe in some sense it's an issue, but at the end of the day, that's the same with anything. Too much of anything can kill, you know? So that's what I would say.
Yeah. I hear it. I agree. I feel like when you do release the music, I feel like no one should actually try any of that, but only a Christian type thing. In the same way they did with Chunks. Obviously Chunks is Muslim, but Like, I think that in Islam, you can't really listen to music, can't be making music, so people are bare on chance like, hey, I thought you're Muslim, like, no one should try to do that because I'll actually come for every single one of them and tell them that, back off. But yeah, is there any, for real, like, back off, man, you're not perfect, go away. But is there any advice that you have for anyone that is coming into faith and they may have been like in a similar position that you were in? So is there any piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say there is absolutely nothing you have been through that God didn't already know you was going to go through and he already has a plan for you and a way that you're going to utilize them things to help the next person. And this journey is yours and his alone, and it doesn't matter what the churches tell you, it doesn't matter what your friend tells you, it doesn't matter what the mother that brought you into this world tells you. It's a 50-50 relationship. It's the same as if you was gonna, plant a flower. If you nurture it, it's gonna grow, and if you leave it to dry, it's gonna die. And there is no timestamp you should put on it. Allow it to flourish. At the end of the day, it's new. And you deserve to grow in it and be, in your own time. But there is no sin big enough for God to never, ever, ever forgive you and love you. And he loves you more than you would ever know. So give yourself that, chance to really experience it and put no limit on what it is you can do in this world.
Period. That's good advice.
And that's what I would say.
I love that. I agree with everything she's saying. God will always love you no matter what. No matter what you do. And again, I think that's why some people are scared to come into faith because it's like, I've done so much. Like, God will always accept you. Like,
I've been knowing what you was going to do when you came out of the womb.
Even if you go and then you come and you go back and then you come back to him again. Story of the prodigal son, that's literally like, that's what he's there for. He's always going to welcome you with open arms. Like,
you've got Jesus to bring that up.
Facts.
Every time.
Facts.
That's really my guy.
For real, like. No, for real, like. That's he done a big one with that, man. But yeah, that's where we have to bring it to a close.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
Thanks for coming on. I've loved this episode. I feel like this is a very real episode. Like, thanks, Madison, for coming on.
Thanks for having you guys. It was really fun. Sorry, I came from work, so don't do my outfit.
She looks fine, innit? She looks fine. But yeah, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Guys, soon my first single is going to be coming out. It's called Pride. There's no dates or anything yet, but just you heard it here first. And I really heard it here first. And only right, because this is really my sister right here. Been to all my sessions, etc. So
most of them, not all of them.
Yeah, that was a lie, so good. So that's really it. And big up my sister every time, man. I hope you lot really enjoy the stuff that she's plugging you with because it's real, man.
It's real. So, it's real. Yeah. So follow all Madison stuff. I'll put it all in the description and everything. Music coming soon. You lot are gonna love it. Like, I'm telling you for free. You lot are gonna love it. Follow all the 360 socials, and we've brought this episode to a close now. See you later, guys.